Well, hello, everybody. How are we doing? All right. Look at us. Here we are again, trying to figure out a way to be okay, to not get frustrated. It's amazing. Here comes the mic. Boom. There it is. Now I should sound better. All right. How we doing today, everybody? I was up late last night, as many of you will attest. We were together till what? 1:45 in the morning or something like that. These are crazy hours we're working these days, everybody. I just woke up and decided, let's go say hello. Let me see how the peeps are doing. So how are we doing? Are we still frustrated? We have some things to discuss, like Alan Lazard. Let's take a look at this guy. Let's comp him to maybe a guy that a lot of us think we're moving away from, maybe a Corey Davis. How about we compare guys like Alan Lazard to the production of maybe a Berrios? We lost Berrios, he's gone. Unless there's some weird way that we find in our heart to bring him back, he goes, all right, I'll take the cut. Something like that. Maybe they're interested, or maybe they're just gone. But we'll discuss all that stuff. I also want to take a little look about a guy that we reclaimed. We discussed it last night, but to no great detail. Did you guys know the Jets signed Lamar Jackson yesterday? Did you know? Did you know, everybody? Dakota J's fantastic. I love it, Dakota. It's good to see all you guys again. Today is 122. This would effectively be, day 8. We're calling it, right? Day 7. But the truth is, it's day 2. That's the real truth of when we could actually announce anything or anything like that. So we're in day 2/7 of the whole Aaron Rodgers thing. And here's what I want to remind everybody, because I saw some fighting. I was looking on, it was actually Instagram. There was a thread, and I saw some fighting. So people were like, blah, blah, blah. And they were, it's like somebody said they were frustrated. Somebody said, you need to get a grip. And somebody said, fuck you. And it was a whole thing. And I think we have to keep in mind what Dakota J is saying right here. Green hearts for all Jets fans, right? Am I right? Am I right or am I right? Green hearts for everyone. Now, Paris likes to say, or he's saying right now, that he thinks signing Aaron Rodgers' buddies is a big mistake. Now, here's what I want to say on that. Now, if we start signing guys, right, we're signing the Aaron Rodgers crew before Aaron Rodgers is here. I also think that's a little bit presumptuous. Now, it could allude or it could lead us to the idea that we feel the Aaron Rodgers thing is a foregone conclusion, right? And maybe it is. Maybe Rodgers said, look, Joe Douglas, of course, our first name bands. Joe, Woody, relax. I'm coming. I just like to do things in my own way. I'm not giving Rappaport and Schefter and these guys the thing. I'm just going to do it. In the next day or two, I'm going to announce it, but I'm coming. Right? Maybe that conversation has been had. Hey, we're thinking about getting Alan. Yeah, I'd love Alan Lazard. I'd love Reggie Cobb when he gets when his contract is ended, or however that has to be. I'd love these guys. I'd love Jamal Williams, whatever. And so the Jets are going to do that and show them, hey, buddy, we can get things done. Different story, right? But I also am concerned. I can't help it, right? You can't help but be a little bit concerned that why are we bringing in all these guys? What if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come? Like, think about it, Paris. We got Hackett, right? That's an Aaron Rodgers thing. And we get Alan Lazard. That's an Aaron Rodgers thing. And then Aaron Rodgers doesn't come. Wouldn't that be something? Rusty Spooner, what's up, GreenBean? JD was talking about this tight end class being the best I've seen yet. I really hope we draft a 6'6", 253-pound Luke Schumacher, who is Kittle 2.0. Let's go. Isn't it something, though, Rusty? With this particular tight end class, I tend to feel the same way. Now, look, I liked the last 3 tight end classes, quite frankly. I feel like the tight end classes are becoming more robust. But to be real, the 2020 and 2021 tight end classes outside of the top end, it wasn't what we would call deep. Now, you're always going to find guys in there. Of course, you're going to find 4th rounders that just pop out and end up being great. It happens all the time. But then last year's tight end class was pretty damn good, in my opinion. Now, we grabbed one, and we got a tight end from the previous tight end class. Well, we got him as an undrafted free agent, Kenny Yeboah. Now, so that leaves us with two, higher priced tight ends. We got Conklin, we got Uzoma, and we also have Kenny Yeboah, who's now he'll be going into his third season as a New York Jet tight end. And then we have obviously Jeremy Ruckert, who they used a third round pick on last year. And for all intents and purposes, the Jets love him, right? I mean, he didn't get to, see the field too much, but they love him. And we love him. And he's a Jets fan, and his dad's great, and all the stuff. And I really do feel confident that he is going to be a stud. Like, I'm not worried about whether or not he's going to be able to have his impact. Now, we don't know to what degree, of course, but I feel confident with Jeremy Ruckert. But isn't it interesting that we put so much into the tight end group before this class, which it really does look like it's one of the stronger tight end classes in some time. Joe Douglas saying it's the tightest. It's the tightest, and it's the strongest or deepest tight end class or best he's seen yet. Interesting. Now you got the traditional Notre Dame guys. You got guys out of Utah, Iowa. Every year there's a good Iowa tight end. This year it's Sam Laporta, who tried to stay in school or chose to stay in school last year. We were thinking that he might come out last year, and then he stayed. Now he's talking about Luke Schumacher, which is somebody that I like. He's going to be a late round pick, though. It might, you look at a lot of these guys, right? We think about it every year. These guys, we think they're going to get drafted, and they end up sliding through. So maybe we do that, Rusty Spooner. Maybe we don't put our assets to use in the tight end department, but we feel confident that some really good ones are going to pop through, and maybe we do that. But I got to say, I find it difficult where we stand now to see the Jets using a resource on another tight end. Now, maybe they trade Conklin in the trade. Maybe there's something like that. I mean, Conklin's a very, very good tight end, but he had some issues last year, man. Whatever that drop stuff was with him, I don't know. But man, oh man, was it frustrating. And, accented by the Vikings game, the game that he should have been tearing it up. And they gave him every opportunity to tear it up, right? They gave him every opportunity to shred his former team. And he, no pun intended, dropped the ball. So maybe that speaks volumes on the player. Maybe they're like, well, hey, man, we love him and everything, but when the lights are on, he crumbles. Maybe that's something that they've identified, and they plan on trading him and bringing in a tight end from this class. That's very, very possible. It's very possible. But that all said, just where we stand now, I don't see the Jets using a pick on a tight end. It would be surprising. All right, let me check in with my friends here. I know Dakota Jet's feeling pretty good, but how about Charles W? How's he doing? Charles, how are you, buddy? Using a GreenBean franchise to become relevant again, 2008 all over again. Using a Green Bay franchise to become relevant again. I don't know how to take that comment there, Charles, but I'll tell you what. It is going to be interesting, in assuming we get Aaron Rodgers, right? Assuming. Now, it's never safe to assume, but just for arguments and conversational sake, let's say we get Aaron Rodgers and we do bring over some guys, like some Mercedes Lewis is being discussed. Bakhtiari is being discussed. Now, obviously, Lazard and Kabi, they're all being discussed. And it can be one of those scenarios where we're the Green Bay Jets, right? That's kind of what happens. Or the New York Packers. And is that bad? There it is. Charles W., the New York Packers. I know what you're saying there. Unless you mean packets. That's funny too. But it's going to be interesting. Kevin saying the same thing. Kevin Vafadus. What's up, buddy? It's good to see you. We're building the New York Packers, and I'm not complaining. Yeah, right? It's about the select Packers, right? You don't just want the Packers. You don't want everybody, of course. But some nicely selected. You go to the farmer's market. You don't take all the beets. You select the beet that you want. And then you move over to an onion. Oh, I like this one. That's how you do it. So that's what we're doing with the Packers. But it is interesting, guys. The Jets, we haven't signed any free agents. Really? I mean, we re-signed, obviously, Quincy Williams. We grabbed Lamar Jackson and brought him back, the cornerback, of course. We saw Greg Zuerlein retained. Very, very nice. But the Jets haven't signed anyone, right? And correct me if I'm wrong. It's like, well, it's weird. The Jets, this is uncharted waters for us. The Jets always sign someone. If not in the first 5 minutes, at least in the first day. Even Joe Douglas's first year. Do you guys remember Joe Douglas's first free agent signing? Anybody know? Raul, good to see you, buddy. Beanbagger here. That's right. All I'm saying is I hope this anxious waiting for the other number 12 is worth it. It's worth it. We're making it a bigger deal than it is, I think, Raul. And he's right. Raul's been a beanbagger from the very beginning, too, man. You're the best, dude. I think, if I remember correctly, second month that I had it open, you've been involved. Maybe I'm wrong or off a little bit, but you've been around almost the whole time. I could not be more grateful for you, man. Truly. But yeah, I mean, I think, again, what we're really looking at is a scenario where the New York Jets have been really dealing with something for a week and only a day that anything can really happen. Of course, when they met with him, they've been discussing this shit with the Packers the whole time. We know that. But as far as anything really moving, we're in day 2. That's really it. And we flew out to see him a week ago tomorrow, if I remember correctly. Right, guys? I know Kevin Callahan just says, I just want some Jets news. Give me some Jet. Nah, not bad, though, Kevin. Not bad. Now, we lost some players. Let's see who we lost today. New York Jets free agents. Let's see who we lost. All right, our free agent tracker. So let's see. So Mike White went to, obviously, the Miami Dolphins. We know we signed Greg Zuerlein, but now I saw last night that Connor McGovern signed, but there was a lot of confusion about the right Connor McGovern, right? So now the Bills signed Connor McGovern from the Cowboys. 2 free agent linemen for the Jets. Let me see. So former Penn State signs with new NFL team. So that's the other Connor McGovern. See, it's confusing. So we don't know. I mean, I didn't see. You guys see it? I mean, I'm seeing all kinds of weird stuff out there, but I'm not seeing. Yeah, he's still on the Jets now. But somebody said he got 7 years somewhere, right? See, I don't know. I think it's the other guy. Yeah, New York Jets free agent center expresses interest in staying. Sheldon Rankin. So we have some work to do, everybody. Let me say hello to you guys. All right, David Gans is here. What's up, David? All this for he's not a below average quarterback, David. I mean, let's just be real. You know what I mean? He's not. Even last year with his dip, he was still a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. So we're not below average is 16, or let's say 20 and below. That's below average. And the idea, like, look, David, with all due respect, right? We like Mike F.M. White. We have an emotional thing, and he proved that he can play ball at the NFL level. He can. But the idea of putting Mike White in the same category as Aaron Rodgers, there's nothing real to substantiate that. It's just our feelings. You know what I mean? Feelings. Mike White has proved he can play, but he's also not proven that he can play for 3 weeks in a row. He's never done it. You know what I mean? We gave him the chances. He can't do it. Up to this point, that's going to be a rub with him. Randy Yaws. What's up, Randy? He says, Garrett Wilson fixing to pop off to the tune of 2,000 receiving yards, baby. Could you imagine? Now, there was a cryptic tweet from Elijah Moore today. Did you guys see that? Not Your Average Show with Jordan Charles says ESPN just said 4 p.m. Wednesday, Rodgers is a Jet. But is it more speculation? More speculation. You know, everybody's saying that stuff. Not your favorite show, or not your average show, Jordan. Jordan Charles is here, everybody. It's good to have you. Matthias Simon. How's the greenhouse handling all this, Matt? How's it going? Blaze is here. Jets Mess is here. What's up, Mess? Another beanbagger. Jets Mess is involved in pretty much everything we do, all our breakdowns. We see you in there, buddy. He's been a beanbagger for a while as well. There he is. Look at this. Beastly Boy, I believe, is a Packer fan, right? And really likes me. Was talking about pulling on my beard and sleeping with me last night. Crazy, crazy stuff. Very flattering. I really do appreciate it, Beastly Boy. Even with the name like Beastly Boy. So Dakota reminds us, don't forget about the Chuck Clark edition. So not a free agent signing, but an addition nonetheless. We definitely brought in a solid player, albeit unspectacular, right? But he's a starting caliber safety, and his strength happens to be one of the areas of weakness at the position. Simple football 101, tackling. Imagine that. Let's see. My current New York cursor says on the 17th, Aaron Rodgers gets a bonus. Before the 17th, Packers take a major. I saw that. I saw something like that, and that could be all it is. But here's the thing, cursor, is that even with all that, they could still announce it. Like they could, right? They could say, all right, well, we're waiting till this because of cap situation but this is what's happening. We could do that. Dakota says he likes Will Parks, and I don't really love Will Parks. I'll be honest with you. I don't hate him. He's good on special teams, but I don't really love Will Parks. Tony Adams, on the other hand, he didn't play much as far as on the defense, but he had a handful of plays and played well. And Saleh loves him. So who knows? Yeah, Trey Gant says Rodgers groupies are part of the recruitment. It is what it is. Now, Trey, I don't know if you were around long enough to remember the Tebow stuff. You guys remember that? Now, I wasn't on YouTube or anything yet, but I was on Jetnation aggressively all day long. All right, we got big news, but all day long, and the Tebow thing was out of control. Within a day of him being here, we were inundated with thousands of new people. It was crazy, and they were all ridiculous. Matt O'Leary, my good buddy, checking in. He says, Diana Rossini, who has had inside information on Aaron Rodgers, says this. Aaron Rodgers has provided the New York Jets with a wish list of free agents he would like them to target and acquire per sources. It includes Randall Cobb, Alan Lazard, Mercedes Lewis. Oh, no. And OBJ. Come on, O'Leary. I'm no longer believing what Matt O'Leary says. I'm no longer buying in. But hey, I mean, look, as much as I don't love OBJ, the person, I don't like him. I haven't from the very beginning. I didn't love him coming out in the draft. That was a very strong wide receiver class. The guy I wanted very much was Brandon Cooks. I mean, obviously I wanted Mike Evans but they were going to be gone. But Brandon Cooks was on the board when we were there, and he was the guy we should have taken without question. I was devastated to a degree that they didn't take him. But OBJ, I didn't love him coming. It's the whole LSU thing, man. Those guys are just, you know what I mean? Just consistently. There's like loudmouths, What's the other wide receiver? Starts with an L. He's Cleveland. What the hell is his name again? I can't find it in my brain. But obviously Jamal. LSU's weird. But that said, if Aaron Rodgers literally said, I want OBJ on the team, and then you can get him for, reasonable price, and you bring on Alan Lazard, Reggie Cobb, and OBJ, and obviously you're going to keep Garrett Wilson, You get rid of Corey Davis. They already said that they're not going to extend an offer, a tender, to Jeff Smith. That's news, right? So what does that leave? So Elijah Moore. So that's 4, right? You got Garrett Wilson, Reggie Cobb, Alan Lazard, OBJ. And then what do you got? You got Elijah Moore, Denzel Mims. That's it. Or Tariq Black, if you want to bring him back, of course. He's very, very important. Michael Murphy check. That's good. And that's interesting news. Now, that would be a positive, right? Like, again, we're out here and we don't know stuff. But if he's providing the Jets with a wish list, if that's real, then obviously the Jets, and they know there's a reason why they're waiting. And Aaron Rodgers just doesn't feel like giving the news to Shefties and all that sort of stuff. What's up, Michael? It's good to see you. I hope you're having a great day. R&R says, what did we do to deserve this nonsense? Well, again, we create a lot of the nonsense, R&R. We're creating it. I mean, the truth is it's day 2 of the negotiation. It's not even free agency yet. Now, generally, we feel, we know stuff by now. So, Radovan checking in. What's up, Radovan? Good to see you. Thank you for the super chat. He says, none of the guys on Aaron Rodgers' wish list are better than our current players. Lazard is a wide receiver 3 or 4 for us. Cobb is wide receiver 5 or 6. Lewis is a tight end 4. Well, here's the thing with that, Radovan. I think there's value in comfort, right? Like there's value in rapport. So that's where that stuff comes in. It doesn't mean we're going to get all of them, right? Like what if Lazard sees it and goes, well, now that Aaron Rodgers is asking for me, that raises my value. I want $2 million more than Mark. Joe Douglas ain't going to do that. Say, sorry, I tried to get him. He's being a peckerhead. Peckerhead. That's what I said. So, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's not that someone is necessarily better, Radovan. It's about Rodgers having that comfort level, knowing exactly how someone works, where their ethics are, where their abilities, strengths, weaknesses, and he already knows. Like, so he already knows that there's not going to be a learning curve with Reggie Cobb. He knows it. He trusts him. If we say this is the play and he's going to be there, don't forget they've both run Hackett's offense. All of them have been in Hackett's offense to great success. So they already know in large part what the designs are going to look like. And they already know when we apply this scheme, Cobby's going to do this, Lazard's going to do this, I'm going to do this, and it's going to work. There's no learning curve. Whether we're Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, Denzel Mims, whoever, there's going to be that learning curve. Now, it might be quick, it might not be an issue, but it's still there, at least on the front end. You know what I mean? Stanley says, if Rodgers wanted Tebow as his backup, he would give him that as well. Would you? I don't know if we can go that far, buddy. Ed the Red wants to know if I'm going to dye my beard green for St. Patrick's Day. Well, let me say this. Technically speaking, I'm Irish, right? I'm Irish, Scottish. It's really what I am, Scottish. So I'm Scottish and Irish. Then I have Portuguese and Swedish and a smattering of Italian. Even though I was raised as an Italian, I didn't find out I wasn't Italian until I was 26 years old. That's when I learned I was adopted by them fucking crazy Italians. So I was raised as one. You see it? Like, hey, that's how I am. But I'm not Italian. So I'm Irish, Scottish, Portuguese, Swedish, and check this out. I'm in like the 70th percentile of human beings of Cro-Magnon, Homo sapiens, having Neanderthal blood. Or genes, not blood. Genes. So I have like a 3% or whatever the hell it is, 0.3% Neanderthal. Isn't that something? Does it explain anything? Maybe the pronounced brow, right? Or the, right? Neanderthal head, right? Do I have Neanderthal head? So I don't know. So it was about my dyeing my beard. I don't drink, Ed. You know that. I'm in recovery from alcoholism. So I don't drink. So I don't know. There's like the party of it. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't really do it. I don't get involved. Even when I was drinking it, St. Patty's Day and New Year's Eve, I always stayed in. I used to call it amateur night, Ed. You know what I mean? Jennifer Slattery checking in. What's up, Jennifer? Good to see you. I mean, I want Rodgers to have a familiar face, but 4 other receivers and $20 million for OBJ. How much cap and roster is this eating? We have all the leverage. His only other choice is retirement. I know. Well, that's it. I think, look, if he gives us a list, that doesn't mean we're going to be able to get all of them. And I'm sure he understands that OBJ is not exactly the most workable, malleable person in the world. And again, I don't like OBJ. I really don't as a person. But you can't deny his talent. You know, the last thing that happened with him was the injury in the Super Bowl. But dude, let me tell you, that first half of that game, OBJ was on fire. I mean, anybody deny it? He was on fire. He looked like it was going to be the OBJ show. Like MVP. That's what it started to look like. Jonathan Francois, my friend, checking in. What's up, buddy? Jonathan Francois, a longtime stream beaner. And thank you for the support, Jonathan. OBJ is basically Elijah Moore and 10 years older. Yeah, well, and accomplished too. I mean, I think I would much rather, Jonathan, see the Jets just kind of buy in with their group. You know, okay, you want to bring in Lazard, you want to bring in Cobb, no problem. Even if they'd like to draft somebody, let's say that Addison's on the board. It's my opinion that Addison, I mean, I honestly like Addison the best out of the class. That's my wide receiver 1. Now, it's kind of redundant, right? But let's say they want to do that. So they bring in Addison, they bring in Cobb and Lazard, and then you just keep, you know, you have Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, and Denzel Mims, and then you got 5s, and you got 6 guys. And then you do the whole whoever's inactive kind of a thing. Maybe you keep 6, who knows? But then it's a good mix, you know. But you know, I'm hoping that Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Denzel Mims are a part of this because they're so young and their skill sets are so diverse. And I think that they can do it. But that said, it's just me hoping. I don't know. We've seen flashes from everybody. Garrett Wilson's a stud. We don't have to really talk about that too much, but OBJ is at least, is at least accomplished. That much you can give him. I mean, he's had very successful seasons, but he's been kicked off of 2 teams. I mean, all traded and cut and then not re-signed. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's real. The OBJ thing is real. There's a reason why nobody is, there's a reason why he's a free agent, dude, for over a year, you know? Jonathan Francois says, say bye-bye to everyone except Garrett Wilson. Well, that's okay. This is in conjunction with the other one. Well, I don't know. Maybe. I don't think so. I really don't. But how about this, Jonathan? Let's say this. Let's say that they do want to do that. They want to bring in a rookie. They want to bring in Lazard, OBJ, and Cobb. And then they can turn around and get a 3rd for Elijah Moore. You can get a 5th for Denzel Mims, maybe. So then you know what I mean? If you're going to do that, then you can add value to the situation. You can. So then you get what you feel would be similar production. If not, obviously you feel like it might be more production. And then you get some picks. So I don't know. You know what I mean? It'll be interesting to see. Randall Cobb. Matt Dools or Deebs. Dools. Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Matt. Love the show. Found you via Matt O'Leary. Rumor has it Rodgers has asked the Jets to change their names to the New York, New Jersey Packers. Fact or fiction? That is a fact. That has been confirmed. Aaron Rodgers, it's not that he wants them to be called the Packers. He wants them to be called the Rodgers. That's what it was. He wants them to be called the New Jersey Rodgerses. That's what I heard from a strong source. So let's take a look for a second at where it looks like the Allen Lazard thing has the most legs, right? At least as where we stand right now. Lazard seems like the most realistic to actually happen up front. Cobb is also one, but let's take a look at Allen Lazard. So we have some stats for Allen Lazard. Let's just take a look at his last little bit of time in the NFL here. Okay. Whoops, that's the wrong page. That's the wrong page. Yeah. All right, sorry, hold on. That was the free agents. Here we go. There it is. All right, so here we got a 6'5", 230-pound wide receiver who is 27 years old and will be 27 years old for the lion's share of this coming season. Last year, he had 60 receptions for just under 800 with 6 TDs. Now, how many games did he play? 15 games, right? So, look, when we're talking about Alan Lazard being this or that or the other thing, right? He's only this. He's not as good as that. Let's just look at what he is. So, the last few years, he's played his whole career with Aaron Rodgers. So again, Aaron Rodgers knows him. Aaron Rodgers has been involved in his development. He knows who he is as a man. He knows, what his work ethic is like. He knows what he's made of, right? What does he show up late? Does he stay late? Is he intelligent? He knows everything about the guy. If he wants him, that is a major card in toward Alan Lazard having the right stuff, right? It's a major nod. For the last few years, he had 52 targets, 35 receptions in 2019, just under 500 yards, 3 tutties, and 24 first downs, right? A little bit of rushing, one rush. So he's got that in his repertoire as well, but not overly utilized. The following year, he has similar receptions, so similar area, 46, 33 for 46, 451. So it's kind of like you can see this is similar. This is all like a trend right here. Very, very similar numbers. Solid, not spectacular, but solid. He's giving you about 500. He's giving you 3 touchdowns. This year he goes up. He's becoming more of a touchdown guy. 8 touchdowns and 28 first downs. So Aaron Rodgers is utilizing this guy in a very specific manner, right? He's getting me my first downs. When we're down in the red zone, I'm throwing him the ball. He's trustworthy, okay? He's doing that. Now, last year, which is, look, his 4th year of real production. The rookie year is what it is. He didn't do much. He only played one game. He only played in one game. He had 1 reception so that's his rookie year. But then you look, it's like you can see it. So he has a trend, okay? This is a trend. About, 50-something receptions or so, about 500 yards, 24, 23, 28 first downs. You see the trend? And then last year, in what is his 4th year as like an active part of the offense, he blows up a little bit. They throw him the ball 100 times. He pulls in 60 of them for almost 800 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 45 first downs. So, guys, we have to be real here. Like, we like to compare these guys to our receivers, right? And go, oh, well, he's only this or he's not better than that. Which receiver on our team has given us this? Garrett Wilson. Now, Elijah Moore ended up having 40-something receptions for 400 yards. So he's kind of in that pocket. But he had 1 touchdown. Let's take a look at Elijah Moore real fast. Why not? So, like, when you're making the decision, now they're different, right? This is a big receiver. Elijah Moore is obviously a quicker sort of a slotty kind of guy, right? So let's take a look at Elijah Moore. All right, and then real quick, we know Elijah Moore, he's 22. He'll be 23 at the end of this month. So he'll be 23 for next season. Very young, very, very young. He's 5'10", 180 pounds approximately. All right, so you look at this. The first year, he had 43 receptions for 538, 5 touchdowns, 24 first downs with a 62-yard long. So he's shown that he can break it. He can break it. And, you can think back to a few plays where Elijah Moore created significant yak, right? So we know he has that. But then last year, even with all the baloney, he gets similar numbers, right? 37 receptions, 446, 1 touchdown, and 22 first downs. So he's still kind of in that same pocket. But let's be real here. Lazard has shown more. Now, he has more time to do it, but Lazard has shown more ability. And even if let's say they're equal as far as what they can contribute, then you add the comfort level with Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers knows he's not a punk, he's not a POS, he's not a crybaby, he's not going to ask for a trade, all those kinds of things. That starts to stack up as well. So this is what we look at. You know what I mean? And then let's take a look at what Garrett Wilson says. Remember, last year, Alan Lazard. What's wrong with me? All right. All right. We know Lazard had 60 receptions last year. Whoops. Let's do this. So in 1 year, now how old is he? He's young. He's 22. So he'll be 23 in July. So he'll also play this season as 23. So Garrett Wilson is the same age as Elijah Moore, which is interesting, right? Well, look, so he has 83 receptions on 147 targets. Wow, he threw him the ball a lot. All the quarterbacks we had tried to get him the ball. He has 83 receptions for 1,100, 4 touchdowns with a long of 50 or long of 60, but 56 first downs. Okay. So 4 total touchdowns. Okay. So you guys see it? Like, so Garrett Wilson to step up, of course. But what Alan Lazard is potentially bringing to the team is more than the next best guy on our team, which is Elijah Moore. I mean, well, Corey Davis. Really want to take a look at Corey Davis? Corey Davis is a big disappointment. You know, he's done a lot of good things here as far as, you know, team-wise and blocking and all those kinds of things. But he's also 28. He'll be 28 for this coming season. But look at what he's given us, guys. Corey Davis. The last 2 years here. Okay. So he's given us 34 receptions and 32 receptions, just about 500, in that 500 range. 4 touchdowns year 1, 2 touchdowns last year, 23 and 28 first downs. So, I mean, look, he's solid. But if you're going to tell me that a younger Alan Lazard hasn't shown more than Corey Davis, and then you add the comfort level with Aaron Rodgers, I mean, I don't think it's arguable. Right now, look, you can say, well, if Corey Davis was healthy, yeah, you can say that, but Corey Davis is injured a lot. That's one of the rubs with Corey Davis. So you got to say, like, if Alan Lazard is looking for what's the rumor? Anywhere from 14 to 16 million. That's what I'm seeing. So let's say you get him for 15 million. You got to ask yourself, is that $4.5 million extra worth it over Corey Davis? Now, how well does Alan Lazard block and all that jazz? We have to figure that out. I know, Luppy. It's funny. We could probably get the list done if we could just say he's our quarterback, right? Wouldn't that be something? Chrono Kenny says the Packers wide receivers sucked last year. Well, I think Lazard was the strong point, right? I mean, he was surrounded by young wide receivers, and they were hurdle. So you have Watson, you had Dubs, you had Amari Rodgers, right? So all those guys, and they ended up cutting Amari Rodgers and getting rid of him. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, if we just add a little bit of patience here, if we just say, hey, we're being patient, and he gave us a list, he's coming, and he wants a few players, there's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, maybe you don't like Lazard, or maybe you don't like Cobb or whatever. But again, I think the value, while it's clear the value's on the field, I mean, it's right there. Alan Lazard his value's real, guys. Right? So, and look, over the past 2 years, he's got 14 touchdowns. Who the hell do we have that has 14 touchdowns in 2 years? No one. Just that alone. No one. See the advanced stats here. Hold on. There's drops. So how many drops does he have? So this is an interesting one. Last year, he actually had 6 drops. So his percentage of drops is 6%. Look, that was a spike for him last year. He had 2 drops, 5 drops, 1 drop, 6 drops. So that's something to consider. But again, I think if Aaron Rodgers is lobbying for him, then it's a big deal. I think Aaron Rodgers, to your point, Chrono Kenny, is that he didn't want to play with all those young kids, like, and watching, like, he's already, Alan Lazard has been developing for 5 years. He's like, here I am at year 1 again with all these guys. I don't, it's not good to have one guy, but it's like a whole slew of them. The whole mess of who's coming in, they're all young, which is, why he said earlier in the year or the offseason, I don't want to be a part of a rebuild. Michael Murphy's a dual citizen from Ireland. Nice. Well done. What's up, soldier? Good to see you. A Jade Pooterbaugh saying OBJ would not be 20 million, not even close. And then John Pfister says he wouldn't pay OBJ more than 5. That's the thing. I don't think it's anywhere near 20 million either. I mean, I haven't heard one way or the other. I imagine that he's going to ask for, he's going to want to get paid, right? I imagine. And he's made some money in his career. But, where is he with all that? We're just not sure. I mean, what is his limit? I mean, he hasn't played in an entire year. So that's interesting. It's really interesting about the OBJ thing. I didn't see that coming. And let's assume it's real, right? I don't know. I mean, it's just, I didn't see that one coming. I would expect Lazard, Reggie Cobb, Mercedes Lewis. I mean, I don't know about him, right? What do we want him for? Oh, I spelled it wrong. Mercedes Lewis. So he's 38. Jeez. What the hell we want this guy for? No way, dude. Get out of here. Well, look, he's been playing with them since 2018, right? So we have let's see what he did. What did he do? This is a long one. So he's got 6 receptions last year. I don't think he's adding Mercedes. What the hell does he want Mercedes Lewis for? I mean, he could be a great blocker, right? 6 receptions for 66 yards and 2 touchdowns. Still had more touchdowns than Elijah Moore on 6 receptions. So I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Mercedes Lewis. I mean, I don't know. Jennifer says it's the drops that turned her off. Yeah. Well, the drops, right. That's serious. So wasn't Lazard the guy who knocked the cheese head off of Sauce? Wasn't that him? I think that was him. Jennifer says, hey, box scores don't tell the whole story. What do I say all the time, Jennifer? All the time. Now, right now, we're just we're just looking, right? We got to look at the box score here at the end, the compiled numbers, but it's only the tip of the story. There's a lot surrounding box scores. And when you only look at the box score, a lot of the time, if you base your opinion strictly on box score, you're off. A lot of the time. My whole thing, I prefer the story around the box score. 49ers just re-signed their center. We tried to get him, but the Niners took him away. Interesting. What did he get? Let's see what he got. 49ers re-signed center. Let's see what he got. The hell's his name again? I can't. My brain, dude. Let me see. Let's see. I just can't remember anybody. I'm so fried these days, dude. It really is crazy. Oh, Brendel, right. So they re-signed. Anybody have numbers on him? Is that accurate? So that's brand new information. So X Mark says Lewis is great at blocking. Okay. Yeah, well, we have good blockers. So we don't need to, push guys that also have receiving. I mean, look, best case scenario with a tight end is that you have a guy that can block his ass off and catch the ball. And then on top of that, when they catch the ball, they don't like to go down. So Conklin has all that. It's just the drops last year. Conklin, it wouldn't even be a question about him. He had a little too many drops, man. Hawk says, what the hell are we going to do at center? I know, man. We have issues at the center position right now. Owen Graw says, I don't think there's a need for Rodgers. Zach's is an absolute stud with serious arm talent. Garrett wouldn't be where he is today without Zach. Should be a day one starter even with Rodgers. Owen, I'd like you to go back and look at Garrett Wilson's games, like his production in each game, and see where his 4 or 5 lowest games were, like least receptions, least yards. See who the quarterback was, and then come back and try to restate that. Arbiv, you think Mims and Moore are out? Well, this is the question, right? I mean, personally, I don't think they should be, but who the hell am I? So one thing I'll say, Arbiv, is that you only have so many roster spots, right? There's only so many. Only so many roster spots, everybody. So if Aaron Rodgers wants guys like Alan Lazard, and he wants guys like Reggie Cobb, if you're going to appease him with that one, then you have to make space, right? So now we know Jeff Smith is out. So that's one on the bottom end of it. That's fine. Jeff Smith is out. Great. So but if he wants Lazard and Cobb, that means 2. So now who do they value more? Mims and the new system. Who does Hackett value more? Denzel Mims or Elijah Moore? Who does he value more? So that's what we have to see. We have to see that. So what else is going on? Let me refresh some Twitter action. What's going on Twitter, everybody? Any new news? The wish list is the biggest one, right? We're seeing the wish list. But and it's funny with the wish list, right? I can see I'm really disappointed in Matt O'Leary. I have to say, how do you not know who Drew Samia is, dude? Come on, Matt O'Leary. The Jets let go of him. I actually don't like that. I liked him as a developmental guy. Guys, these low-end guys, most of the guys that are on most of them don't ever pan out, right? We know that. But Drew Samia, I liked him coming out of, coming into the league. And I was hoping, you like to hope that these guys that you got stewing on your back end can pop through. That's always the hope, right? Always the hope. You want best cases for the guys you're working on back here that at some point they can make it in. The New York Jets have expressed interest in veteran tight end Mercedes Lewis. Boo! That one's dumb to me. You know what I mean? I mean, dumb, maybe a strong word, but that one doesn't make any sense. The other ones do. Lazard, Cobb, they make sense to me. And Lazard, it makes a lot of sense, honestly. It really does. But I think I think Mims, interestingly enough, might have more value to the new staff than Elijah Moore. But if they're bringing in Lazard and, they're bringing these guys in, maybe that Mims becomes redundant, So let's take a look here. Let's take a look at Reggie. Let's take a look at Reggie Cobb. So Reggie Cobb is 50 years old. Let's see. He's it says 50. That's a different Reggie Cobb. Reginald Cobb, running back. A Randall Cobb. I do that every time, everybody. I keep saying Reggie, don't I? You guys got to correct me when I do that, man. Don't let me go. Don't let me get away with that stuff. Let's see. So he's 32, so clearly on the back end, right? So let's see. Let's see, though. He's 5'10", 195. So there's a lot of thought that, this is the Berrios replacement, right? But it could very well, in some respects, be looked at as the Elijah Moore, too, I guess. But what did he do last year? So he had 50 targets, 34 receptions, 417, and a touchdown, 19 first downs. So this isn't a guy I would feel Rodgers should make a big stink about. I mean, the comfort level's there. He's been really great. You remember this section of his career here. He was great, dude. He was a great wide receiver. Or very great relative, but you know what I mean? He's very, very strong. So, but if you want these guys, the Jets have to weigh out like, well, if I have to lose Elijah Moore to bring on Randall Cobb's only going to be here for a minute. But the truth is, Aaron Rodgers is only going to be here for a minute, right? So that's what we have to remember. This is, look, we have a nice young core, lots of young players. ABT, Brees Hall, Bam Knight, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Jermaine Johnson, Quinnen Williams, Michael Clemens, all these young guys, Jamie Sherwood, Quincy Williams, he's middle. He's not old, but he's not young either. And then so you have this nice young core of studs. And you're going to bring in Aaron Rodgers and you're going to try to fit the whole thing through this little tiny time window. And if you're going to do that, do it. Push the money to later years. Go ahead, do it. Push the money. Squeeze the guy in. Let's go. And this is it. New York Cursor saying Cobb and Lazard replace Davis and Berrios. And that would be best case, right? Now, when you start talking about Mercedes Lewis, which guy is he going to push out? You can't have 5 tight ends. We know Ruckert. They just used a third on him. So more than likely Ruckert's here. More than likely. They just paid for Uzomah and Conklin last year. So, and they just restructured Uzomah. So there's that. They just gave him more money up front, this year and everything. So he's here, more than likely. Conklin would have value, out there, but Mercedes Lewis isn't replacing what Conklin can give you. And then you have Yeboah. Yeboah is, he's played special teams. I think he's much more potential, but maybe the Jets don't. But again, maybe it's just LaFleur. We've seen that LaFleur didn't really know how to use people, everybody. For all of his talent as a play designer, Mike LaFleur, his personnel usage was head-scratching. Yeah, I know, right, Jennifer? He's like, oh, yeah, Reggie Cobb. Let's get him back. New York Jets signed 50-year-old Reggie Cobb in lieu of Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, he's like, all right, we didn't get Rodgers, but we did get Reggie Cobb. That's funny. Reggie Cobb, right, Vafadoost? I'll tell you. I do that all the time, man. It's like, I'm still just getting settled with Quincy Wilson, Quincy Williams. I'm just now getting ahead of that one. So Vervain says Lewis is basically a 6th offensive lineman. Right. So blocking only, and every now and then he'll catch a pass. But that's the thing. I always, in years past, the Jets went for, either or tight ends. Pass catching, no blocking, blocking, no receiving. And then you got really great teams going for the guys that can do both. Dallas is a great example of that. They've had 25, 30 years of tight ends that can catch and block. And I don't see any reason why you can't focus on that. Why make it? Now, it's one thing if you have a guy and he's exceptional, and that's fine. But why? Shit. Nate Herbig is gone. Did you guys see that? Oh, that sucks. What did he get? 2-year deal, $8 million. So he's got $4 million guaranteed. So it's essentially $4 million a year. That sucks. Well, if that's what did it for you, GMB, see you later, buddy. If you can't acknowledge truth, then bounce. See you later, buddy. Then you don't know what you're talking about. What are you, 8? You know what I mean? Like 8 years old, and Dallas stinks. Like Dallas has had from Novacek. Just go the lineage. They're a great example of what to shoot for when you're trying to get a tight end. Now, tight ends, man, if you bring a guy on and the defense knows he's only a blocker, that limits something. Now, again, if he's so good, it's fine. Teams do it all the time. But if you have a guy that can lay the same wood, but also peel off and be a dangerous pass catcher, that's optimal. That's what you want. Joe Campione, Rodgers makes Jets sign Lazard, Cobb, and stays in Green Bay with Davis, Mims, Moore, and Watson. Dude. That's funny. That's funny. That's great. So, Hawk, because you don't like Dallas, are you going to not say that like their tight end, the what they've done with the tight end position and fullback for that matter over the last 30 years is poopy? Is that what we're saying? Like they've just like the Niners, like, Kittle is a slam dunk, dude. Kelsey, that's what you want to shoot for. Now, again, it's like, we like Dustin Keller. Dustin Keller was a very good tight end. Never great or anything, but he was a very good tight end for us. But his blocking, he couldn't block. It's also, he was one-dimensional. His block, he would do it. He was willing blocker. And look, I fucking hate Dallas. Let's be real. I hate him. I hated him. Remember before this like parody set in the NFL, like that was like a whole decade where Dallas and the Niners and the Giants, it was like, ugh, I still hate it. But, again, you living in the real world, you got to acknowledge just because I don't like something doesn't mean it ain't real. You know what I mean? That's right. I said poopy, Walt. That was for you. So, dude, we lost Nate Herbig to the Steelers. Bastards. I hate the Steelers. I hate them more than Dallas. I'll tell you that. I hate them. Look at all these Steelers fans talking about it. Philly was also trying to get Herbig back. Guard Nate. That's a bummer, dude. So now we need depth now too. Nate Herbig was good. Not great, but he was still on the uptrend. You know what I mean? That sucks, man. K Yeti says, I work better with people close to my age so I can see the appeal. Also love when young kids shows drive and good upbringing. Hard to find. Like Garrett Wilson. How impressive is Garrett Wilson as just a player, person? Like, come on. That guy blew my doors off this year on numerous levels. Obviously we like the talent and all that, but even that far surpassed what I thought he was going to bring. Just amazing. But then on top of that, like the drive, the fire, the passion, like, dude, Garrett Wilson blew my doors off this year. Truly. Michael Thomas is heading back to the Saints. That's interesting, right? I don't know. Niners bring back center Jake Brendel. Oh, Garrett Bradbury signed a new deal with the Vikings. They kept him. I liked Garrett Bradbury coming out. Michael Thomas. Let's see. Look at this. Michael Thomas. They say Michael Thomas was one of the recruiters for Derek Carr down there in New Orleans. What else we got? Anything else happening? Come on. Did you guys see the Lamar Jackson tweet earlier? Not our Lamar Jackson, the quote real Lamar Jackson, the guy for the quarterback. Did you guys see that? So he's feeling like this is when you can tell feelings are involved, right? This is the problem with being his own agent, and you can see it. Did you guys see the tweet? Lamar Jackson put out a tweet, 133 for 3 years, fully guaranteed, but I need an agent. Ha, ha, ha. You need laughing faces. Oh, it shows that feelings are involved to me. Then why don't you sign it if it's so great? Right? I mean, he's right on the strong deal aspect, right? But nobody offered me $133 million for 3 years. What's 133 divided by 3? Anybody know? Let's see what it is. 133 divided by 3 is $44.3 million per year. So, I don't know. Isn't he asking for $50 million a year? I mean, granted, we know a lot of the reports that we hear and see aren't necessarily real, right? Rumors, smokescreen, all that sort of stuff. But I don't know. Lamar Jackson is unsigned, right? He didn't reach an agreement. And it's just an interesting tweet, right? What do you guys make of that tweet? What do you guys think of it? Did you guys see the tweet yet? Here, I'll show you. Here. So here's the tweet. Lamar Jackson just put out there 133 for 3 years, fully guaranteed, but I need an agent. Well, maybe the agent would have figured out how to make it so you're actually signed and you have that money. I mean, if he's asking for 50, then that's low, right? I mean, that's still obviously high. These numbers are all relative, right, guys? I don't think anybody in this chat gets paid that much. Fair? You don't have to tell them. Fair enough. Nobody's getting paid that much. But I don't know, man. It's like if he was happy there, he would sign it. I don't see it. It's like it's weird. It's conflicting to me. Maybe I'm off. I don't understand it. If that's so great, look, we're using that as a symbol that look how great of a job I'm doing as an agent. Right? But then he's not signed and he turned it down and they're not willing to get, no other teams are giving him offers. Like, I don't know. It's maybe you guys can translate that to me. Sauce is another one. New York Cursor, right, is a wonder. I wanted Garrett Wilson over him. So glad the Jets didn't skip over him. Was ecstatic when they still got Wilson. Yeah, dude, you guys know I wasn't about the cornerback in the last year's draft. Nope. I liked Sauce as a player, of course, but I didn't want him. So look at that. Talk about, being happier with what they did than what I would have did. My draft would have still been great, but it's like not Sauce and Garrett Wilson. Holy shit. Both of those guys. Unbelievable. The fact that Sauce came out and was instantly in the conversation for best cornerback in the NFL is, quite frankly, it's something we don't see enough. You know what I mean? Jets Chaos in the chat. He says this free agency season is like molasses. It's like everything is waiting on this trade. Yeah, it really is like that. It really is like that. It is slow, man. Liam wants to know who my least favorite team is. It's the Miami Dolphins. That's my least favorite team. Although I have to admit, over the past 20 years, the Patriots have really made a case. So you know what? I might have to switch that. I think I got to say the Patriots. The Dolphins, I've hated since I'm a little kid, and that's like the true Jets rivalry, Jets Dolphins in my head. But the Patriots, dude, what they've done to us, and what they've done to the league, just cheating. Getting caught cheating, no real penalties. They take a pick or they $100,000 or they suspend Brady. It's all bullshit. Like Belichick has never been suspended for one game and he's been cheating the entire time. It's bullshit to me. And then you have the whole thing with the Patriots where Tom Brady's taking half as much as every other quarterback out there. Well, why is he doing that? Well, because the Patriots are the number one customer of his company. So they're doing something called laundering. They're just hiding the money that they're giving him. It's just, I don't know. The NFL should never allow that. That's such a conflict of interests. But nope, they let him do it. And that's how they were able to win all those years. It's just, I don't know. So maybe, you know what, Liam, I'm changing my answer to the New England shitbag Patriots. Jennifer says they deserve guaranteed contracts and Lamar is right for standing up for it. Yeah, I don't really have any disagreement with that necessarily. Guarantees are great because you got to look at the way it was, right, Jennifer? For so many years, I mean, the NFL and all the billionaire owners, like they built this thing on the backs of people that got chump change, nothing. And the second that they were no longer useful, they were out. They're in hospitals with knee injuries and broken, backs. And then the NFL team has just moved on to the new thing and they got nothing. So the idea of getting guaranteed contracts, I think it's like one of the better turns for the players in the past, decade, 15 years. I agree with that. But at some point you do have to realize like, there's only so much that one player can take from a team with the salary cap. So there is a line that gets crossed, right? Sean Rude says, without paying an agent, it's more like 50 a year. With an agent, it's more than 50 a year with an agent. Maybe. Rob V says the NFL Players Association has no pull in this. The owners can do whatever they want. It's their money. Nobody can tell an owner what he should give or shouldn't give as guaranteed. That's absolutely true. Like that's the other side of it, right? I think that the players and the guaranteed, like they have value and they have to fight for every single drop of that value. I completely agree. At the same time, there's a limit. The owner goes up. Well, you've reached my limit. I'm no longer going to do that. So take it or leave it. And they can do that. I don't know. I just think that's a weird comment. You know what I mean? Like, if that was so great, then why didn't he take it? Like, you didn't take it. Fully guaranteed 44 plus $1 million a year. It's not good enough to take, but it's good enough to use as a beacon for why you're doing a great job. I don't know. And didn't he want 6 years too? No, it's just confusing to me. Kyler has an agent. Kyler got himself a crazy contract, and his value is almost gone now, at least for right now. So the Giants just made a trade. Did you guys see that? Let's see what happened here. Let's see. Let's refresh the Ian Rappaport page. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Let's see. Jeremy's up here saying, why in the world would we be interested in Lazard? I just showed everybody, Jeremy. There's a lot of reasons why you'd be interested in him. But let's see. What's New York Giants? Let me see what Ian Rappaport. Let me see here. The Giants traded Kadarius Toney for Darren Waller. So, all right, they just used the pick that they got for Kadarius Toney to trade for tight end Darren Waller from the Raiders. Now, outside of his injuries, what a stud Waller is, huh? I think Waller was an undrafted free agent, wasn't he? Such a good player. Giants are finalizing a trade to acquire star tight end Darren Waller from the Raiders. Interesting. What do you guys think of that? Giants are making moves. Giants are making moves, everybody. I know that was the weirdest thing ever, right? They actually put in that contract that that he had to spend a certain amount of time reading the playbook. I'm ridiculous. If you have to write that stuff in a contract, that's not the guy you want to be giving all that money to. In my opinion, who am I? Oh, that was sarcasm? Yeah. Interestingly enough, what I've learned is that, sarcasm and stuff rarely come through clearly in like text mediums, whether it's text message or, whatever, Twitter. But it happens sometimes. You got to figure out ways. You got to use emojis. You got to like a wink, something like that, Jeremy. That's my advice. They could, Jennifer, but again, you're accelerating this very, very quickly. Wow. You know what I mean? And the owners could just say, yes. Like, let me ask you this. In the event, now, I don't want to see anything like this, and I'm always on the side of the employee, always. Unless, obvious, ridiculous scenarios and stuff. But generally speaking, I'm on the side of the employees. I'm a labor force guy. That's where my allegiances lie, generally. But if there was a scenario where the two sides could not make an agreement, who do you think is going to be able to last longer out there? Who do you think would be able to withstand it? The owners. They're the ones in the driver's seat. You got to just know that. You know what I mean? You have to know. You got to know where the limits are. You have to be real. That's my whole thing. You got to just know where the limits are. Like you can't push past realistic limits. That's my whole thing. And we'll see. It's going to be real interesting to see what happens with Lamar, right? See if he caves. See if he holds out all year. Remember, not the greatest example, but like Le'Veon Bell held out. He was offered a $14 million contract, which was essentially a 1-year guarantee, right? There was a longer contract from the Steelers. And what he said is basically there's no guarantees after this year, so I'm not taking it. Plus, I want to be paid. I'm the number 1 running back, and I'm the number 2 wide receiver on the team. I want to be paid accordingly. They said, no, you're one position. Just because we use you in different capacities doesn't mean we're going to pay you as the highest paid running back in the NFL. And he said, no, I want to be paid in wide receiver category. Long story short, he ended up holding out. As we know, he held out the entire year, lost that $14 million that they offered him, of course, because he didn't play. Came back in, got a 13 and change $1 million contract with the Jets, but he had 3 years of guarantees in there. So the argument was, well, look, over the length of it, I'm actually guaranteed more. Let's say I played 1 game and tore my knee. I only would have got that 14 mil. Okay, fair enough. But you look at what really happened. The year knocked him out of, he was out of prominence. He was gone 2 years later. Gone. And he never got all that money. He got some. He got the guarantees. So that's the whole thing. Like, there are limits. That's what I'm saying. You have to do things intelligently. And again, I'll reiterate, I'm 99 out of 100 times I'm on the side of the labor force, whatever capacity that is, whether it's iron workers or NFL players. That's where I am. It's where I stand. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that's where I tend to lean. But the idea that you can just, take your value and just, it's endless is not real. And we'll see where it goes. I'm very curious to see where it goes. Right. Rob says the owner is 100%. Exactly. Not that I think that's right or good or anything. Right? It just is what it is. I know, right, Hawk? They had to say that to Kyler, we need you to eat more vegetables, dude. It's in the contract. Go to bed at a reasonable hour. It's in the contract. I know. So Vafadouce, listen to this. So this is essentially what he's doing. I mean, he got rid of Carr and brought in Jimmy G. Now, Jimmy G got a lower contract than a lot of people were thinking, and I think they saved some money there. Okay, fine. But what if Jimmy G's hurt in 6 games? I mean, Carr missed 2 games in 9 years. Jimmy G has only had 1 full season in 5, 6 years that he was a starter. His first 3 years, he was obviously not playing. He was behind Tom Brady in New England, but what's up, Dylan? Good to see you, buddy. So Garrett says, what is Las Vegas doing? I don't know. You got to ask Dylan. Dylan knows. Dylan knows what Las Vegas is doing. Yeah. Oh, 80. Oh, really, Getty? See, that's the thing. 80%. I thought 80% of your posts were negative and mean and hurtful. That's what I thought. Who knew? Who knew? It was just sarcasm the whole time. Amazing. All right, let's see what else we got. I got to take my daughter to Park Day. So, hey, I was hoping maybe we jump on here and Aaron Rodgers signed, but it didn't happen, huh? It didn't happen. Just stop fighting. It's silly. All right, guys, stop fighting. It's silliness. It's just a discussion. There's no reason to be mad on one side or the other. None. I'll tell you what, though. The one thing I would say is that if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come to the New York Jets, if Aaron Rodgers is not our quarterback, let's say we find out this week Aaron Rodgers decides to retire. We got Alan Lazard and Reggie Cobb, but no Aaron Rodgers, right? Let's say that happens. The idea of just pivoting and going to Lamar Jackson and then overpaying like in a panic is a move I don't think I would love to see. Now, if Lamar Jackson ended up being our quarterback, of course, everybody's going to be excited and you're going to hope that the injury thing turns around. Of course, we're all going to hope that. But I don't want to see the Jets go into a panic situation. Like, holy shit, we blew it. Doesn't matter. Overpay. Give them 6 years, $50 million guaranteed. I don't want to see the Jets do that. I don't want to see that. Liam wants to know if I'm a munch. What's a munch? I don't know what a munch is. Anybody know what a munch is? Jennifer, what's a munch? Tell me. I know, we riot. That's I'm telling you. It's got to happen, right? It's got to happen. Look at Jim. He says he's ours. All right. I mean, dude, could someone really have the gumption to give an NFL organization a list of players to get and then not be coming? Can that be real? Can it? I don't know, right? Bench? I don't know. Oh, mensch. Hawk says a mensch. What's a mensch? That's Jewish, isn't it? You're right, Jennifer. Mensch. Maybe. You guys, okay. Mensch. All right. Super Leroy checking in. What's up, Leroy? He says Aaron Rodgers will be the quarterback. The situation is too set up and good to be true for him. Is set up too good to be true, right? Okay. He wants to prove to his own ego and reflection that he could take over New York. I think so too. I don't know about I think we're attaching a lot of negatives to him that might not be necessarily real, but I don't know. I think we're attaching like the idea that like he loves this. And I don't know, maybe. I don't know. But he seems to me like everything I watch and see, especially over the last few years, he seems like a guy who's just not really concerned with everyone else's stress. He doesn't really give a shit. Like your timeline is not my timeline. And I respect that. I really do. I have a great deal of respect for that. Even though it doesn't make me happy, I want it now. I respect that, man. Like, more people should be able to do that. And he's earned it. Like, he's saying, you know what? I don't really care that you guys are all stressed. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to go through my process. I'm going to sit and reflect. And I'm going to make sure that leaving the team that I played for 18 years is the right move to go to a historically bad franchise. Is the potential to turn them around real enough that it's worth it? Or am I going to endure a year or two of complete and utter devastating stress? You know what I mean? That's what he has to figure out. So I don't know. Maybe he's just sitting home like, I love it, these motherfuckers. Maybe he's doing that too. I don't know. I'm saying everything I've seen leads me to believe that it's the other thing. He's just like, dude, I don't really care what anybody else thinks. I'm doing it my way. It's my life, not yours. That's what I think. Guys, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you want to get involved with some really awesome, deep breakdowns of prospects and classic games and private awesomeness. You can join the Beanbaggers. The link is in the description. Tomorrow night, we have Dylan Terraman from the great Jetnation Radio coming over to break down prospect wide receivers with us in our private Zoom room in the Beanbaggers. Come on in, man. It's a great time. It helps support the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. If you just want to get and have some fun with the live streams, you can join the Stream Beaners. The join button's right below the television screen here. And guys, please, at bare minimum, go ahead and give me the milk thumbs. Woo! And then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow, and I appreciate it. I'll be back with you guys later. We have the Talking Jets panel tonight at Jets Talk 24/7 at 8 p.m. with O'Leary, Ryan, and myself. I'm looking forward to that with you guys. We'll have a great rest of the day. I'm going to the park with my daughter. It's 40 degrees here in Virginia, but I'm going to go to the park nonetheless and have a good day with my daughter, and I will see you guys tonight. What should I play with for you guys right now? Let's see. Let's just do a rando. You guys want to do a rando? Let's do a rando. Guys, have a great rest of the day. I'll see you later. This is when the Colts had Peyton Manning waiting there because he didn't come out the year before because Parcells, our brilliant head coach, decided not to tell Archie Manning he couldn't guarantee that he would take his kid first. It's just the stupidest thing. You know, history could have been totally different for us, Jets fans. But it's not. And it sucks because Parcells is one of the greatest coaches we've ever had, if not the greatest. So how can you complain? You can't. I hate that prison cell. I hate it. I want to yell. I want to bitch about it. But I can't because Parcells was good. Traded back. Got James Farrier and Dedrick Ward out of that one. That's what I think.